What's up, guys? Coming to you today with a big chunk of college football action here on a very loaded week 2 of Saturday NCAA football. It's September 6th. We're going to dive deep into a bunch of these games. I'm going to give out a ton of picks, so buckle up. We've got a great video for you here today. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep seeing these videos every single day, and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally read and answer every comment I get. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. No recap for today, guys. We're recording this video well ahead of time. I want to make sure you get to take as much advantage of these early lines as you possibly can here. Obviously, we expect lots of public money to come in, at some point tonight, and of course, tons and tons of public money coming in tomorrow morning. So definitely want to get in on this Saturday NCAA football action early as you possibly can. So we're going to go ahead and dive in right now, and we're going to look at the first game on our personal slate. We've got the number 11 Illinois Fighting Illini going on the road to take on the Duke Blue Devils. Illinois got off to a solid start to their season. Obviously, a cupcake win there over Western Illinois, winning 52-3. So obviously a very easy walkover win there. Altmaier looked really, really good under center. No complaints there. The running game was very, very much online. A lot to like there about Illinois. Defensively, they were good, giving up only 3 points. Didn't give up much to the run, didn't give up much to the pass, but I will note they only generated a single turnover against a team that was at like an immense talent deficit. So that's something to at least keep in mind here. What are they going to do against an actual real football team this time around in the Duke Blue Devils? Maybe there's going to be a little bit more competition than they're used to, but Illinois is a solid squad, guys. They're 11th in the nation for a reason. They moved up one spot, so we'll see what they can do here going on the road in a very exciting week 2 here, and they're going to face a pretty real challenge here. They're going up against Duke. The Blue Devils got the 45-17 win against Elon there in week 1, so well played by Duke, not stumbling out of the gate, not even letting this game be competitive. They were tied at halftime, so I guess it was competitive through halftime, but Duke got things figured out, eventually blows them out 45-17. The quarterback situation for Duke looks very, very solid there. 3 touchdown passes, nearly 400 yards passing in the game. The running attack did have its weird moments, but overall ended up to be very solid. The defense, they forced 1 turnover. It was a little bit concerning performance there. Takeaways are very key in college football. They even maybe struggled just a tiny bit against the rush, but I think that was just a lot of moving pieces there at the very, very beginning of the year for Duke. I think they're going to be much more calm, cool, and collected here, especially right out of the gate. And, this is probably a pretty big look-ahead spot for them. I doubt Illinois, as a ranked team, was looking ahead too much to facing Duke. Well, I guarantee you, Duke being at home, getting to welcome in Illinois, I'm sure this was a big look-ahead spot for them last week, and maybe they just weren't that locked in right out of the gate. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Blue Devils are getting 2.5, maybe up to 3 points, depending where you look, and if we see some line movement here. We've got a total of 49 in this game. Guys, I'm really leaning towards Duke. I really like both of these teams overall. I feel like people are undervaluing the Blue Devils, though, especially playing at home where they've got a pretty solid home field advantage. The overall talent is very close. Both teams have solid quarterbacks. That makes a big deal. And getting the home team getting some points here feels like some pretty nice value right out of the gate. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Virginia Cavaliers going on the road to take on the NC State Wolfpack. Now, Virginia got off to a good start to their year, a 48-7 win over Coastal Carolina. So good stuff right out of the gate. Obviously, not allowing a point on the board from their opponent until the third quarter, so can't complain too much about that. Chandler Morris looked very good under center. The running attack looked very solid with Chandler Morris actually leading the way on the ground as well. The running back group looked good. The wide receiver group, obviously Cam Ross having a monster performance. No turnovers for the entirety of the game there for Virginia. Looks good. They forced, 3 total turnovers there against Coastal Carolina, so that's a very solid look there for their defense. You love to see that. So honestly, not a lot could have gone better for Virginia here in the in their season opener. Now, but now they got to bounce back quickly. They got to head right out on the road to take on NC State. The Wolfpack also got off to a 1-0 start, but it was a pretty real football game there, guys. Going up against ECU, the Pirates made things very interesting. Now, NC State did get out to a 17-7 lead at halftime, but they gave up 10 unanswered points there in the fourth quarter to make this game look pretty competitive. I didn't love what I saw from CJ Bailey. He did pass for 318 yards, but was picked off once and had that 1 touchdown. He also ran for another touchdown, but didn't look that crazy in the ground attack. Smothers there running the ball, 22 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown. fine, but nothing too incredible. Defensively, they gave up a lot. They gave up a ton to the passing game. They didn't force a single turnover. They struggled a bit against the run. That's a lie. They did not really struggle against the run, but they didn't really find a way to stop that passing attack. And, ECU didn't seem that committed to the run game anyway. So, yeah, not the best performance there from the Wolfpack on defense. So, we'll see if that comes back to haunt them in this game. Looking at the numbers, the odds makers actually have them as favorites here at home. They're 3-point favorites. We've got a total of 54 in this game. I like Virginia getting 3 points on the road in this one. They were one of our best premium plays there in week 1 with that crushing win over Coastal Carolina. We really liked Chad Morris at North Texas last season, and we're very high on him coming into a much more talent-laden situation. NC State looked decent early last week against Eastern Carolina, but we didn't like how they let the Pirates come back into the game, making things very, very close at the end, and I really didn't like what they were doing there against the pass. So I will certainly take Virginia here, getting 3 points on the road. I think they're live to win this game straight up. So Virginia at +3 will definitely be going in the pinned comment. Rolling right along, we've got the Connecticut Huskies heading to Syracuse to take on the Orange. UConn did get a win in their first game of the season. It wasn't exactly much of a test taking on the Central Connecticut Blue Devils. They win 59-13. Obviously, pretty big talent discrepancy in that game. We liked what we saw in general. Quarterback play pretty solid there from the Huskies. 3 touchdowns there from their starter, 18 of 25. Not a whole lot to nitpick there. The running game also looked excellent. Very, very dominant stuff, breaking off some big runs as well. So kind of what you would expect them to do against, a team that really isn't anywhere close to their same level. Connecticut didn't turn the ball over. Feels like, they played really well, but it also didn't really feel like they were too tested. They did give up 13 points in the game, but nothing too much to worry about there. They were very dominant against both the run and the pass, so I don't have anything very bad to say about UConn. They're, in week 1, looked really, really good. Are they a little bit untested still? Sure. Are they ready to go on the road and take on Syracuse? We'll see, guys. The Orange did have a little bit of a bumpy start to their season, obviously losing there against number 24 Tennessee. Speaking of talent discrepancies, there's one for you for sure. Now, obviously, the Orange did do some positive stuff. They put up 26 points, albeit in a loss, but they, came back there in the second half a little bit. They did score 14 points in the second quarter. Aguilar was okay, I'll say, at least decent. 16 for 28, 3 touchdown passes there for Tennessee. So that doesn't really speak too well about that Syracuse Orange secondary. We saw, not that great of quarterback play, an interception there. The running game did look good. That's a positive there for the Orange, but they turned the ball over twice. That is a big, big problem in the offense. And the offense was okay. The defense was atrocious. Couldn't stop the run or the pass. So definitely worried about how the Orange started their season. Looking at the numbers here, we see Syracuse, despite not a great start to the year, they're still 7-point favorites. We've got a total of 57 in this game. Guys, I'm going to be leaning towards UConn here, getting 7 points. We actually liked it at +6.5. We definitely like it at 7. These squads have a similar level of talent. We like that UConn brings in the continuity with a returning starting quarterback. Syracuse defense had a really rough time slowing down Tennessee last week and nearly gave up 500 yards of offense. Against a lower tier opponent, we like what UConn did show offensively in week 1, and, putting up 638 yards of offense is a lot. I think we see them at least keep this within 1 touchdown there against Syracuse. A great spot here where I definitely think the underdog is once again very much in play. Hey guys, hopping here with a quick shout out to the sponsor of today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are doing daily MLB, UFC, NCAA football, and NFL action. We've got a ton of week 1 NFL picks over there in the premium section, but we have a ton of NCAA football picks over there in the premium section as well for these games on Saturday. So definitely get over there and check that out. We've also had a great MLB season so far. A ton of picks over there live, at time of recording. This video is being recorded early, so no recap of these premium picks because a lot of them you could still get action on if you wanted to. So can't really give that information away, but you definitely want to get over there to the premium section and check that out at StumpTheSpread.com. We've had a very solid season. Don't worry, we'll be recapping these, the premium picks and obviously these picks in a future video, but definitely want to get over and check that out. We're cooking up a big video there for the NFL Week 1 plays, and there's 6 or 8 NFL Week 1 plays already in the premium section. So tons of great information over there. You definitely want to check that out. You also want to get over to StumpTheSpread.com to get on that free email list. Not only is there a free email list, there are free picks that are exclusively posted over there and our free to use bet size calculator. So tons of great information to get on that email list where you'll get at least 1, oftentimes 2 free picks every single day straight to your inbox, as well as information on parlays, information on esports betting like golf, NASCAR, tennis, all kinds of good stuff like that. Just go over there to stumpthespread.com by clicking the link in the description. They need your name and your email address. That's it. You'll get one email every single day straight to your inbox, or it could end up in your spam folder occasionally. So if you're having trouble, check that spam folder. That's usually the number one problem. But definitely get in on that if you're interested, guys. It's a great resource for any serious sports bettor. Also, if you're a huge fan of what we do here every single day, you can sign up for a YouTube channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. YouTube channel members are eligible for our members-only giveaways. We'll be giving away a Stump the Spread hoodie to one random channel member here every single week. The next giveaway is going to be on the 8th, so coming up very quickly. You also get early access to all of our videos and get your name up on screen in every single video, so definitely some very cool stuff to check out in there. Definitely get in on that if you are interested, guys. It's a great resource, and it's absolutely free. It takes very little effort, so definitely check that out. But we're going to go ahead and dive back in. We've got a ton more games we're going to break down here on a very exciting Saturday of NCAA football. And next up, we're going to be looking at the Central Michigan Chippewas going on the road to take on the Pittsburgh Panthers. Central Michigan did get off to a good start to their season, a very competitive game there against San Jose State. They end up winning 16-4 with the Spartans missing 2 late field goals to help the Chippewas come away with the win. So they do get the win. Was it an easy win? Absolutely not. But they do come away with the win. The Chippewas, not exactly a team that's loving throwing the ball. They passed the ball a total of 13 times in that game. So definitely a run-first kind of team. And they ran the ball really well there against the Spartans of San Jose State. Will they be able to do that in this one against the Panthers? That might be a little bit of a big ask. There's going to be a bit of probably a size, but definitely a skill discrepancy there. In terms of the defense, giving up only 14 points is great. They generated a couple of turnovers, actually 3 total turnovers. So a lot of good stuff there, but they are about to take on a very different opponent here. The Pittsburgh Panthers come into this game. They're also 1-0 on the season, a 61-9 win for them in week 1 against Duquesne. So I'm sure they feel pretty good about that little warm-up game. They did not let things be very close. They were up 34-6 there in the first half. We loved what we saw from Holstein under center. He did get picked off once, but 4 passing touchdowns, that looks okay. The running game also looked very much on point. On defense, they did fail to create a turnover, but only gave up 9 points, so can't fault them too much there. Really, the running game and the passing game looking so dynamic, and the defense looking smothering there against both the run and the pass. I don't have a lot of negatives right now about this Pittsburgh team. And looking at the numbers, the odds makers, they're on Pittsburgh, but not quite as big as I would expect it. They're minus 21.5. We've got a total of 49.5 in this game. Guys, I like Pittsburgh at minus 21.5. We're very high on this team in general. A potential surprise team there in the ACC. They return a lot of experience at quarterback and running back, putting this squad in a great spot to open the season right off the bat, just hitting the ground running. Central Michigan did get the surprise win there on the road against San Jose State, but traveling from one side of the country to the other, playing back-to-back games on the road, I think they're going to be fatigued, and I think the talent discrepancy in this game is going to be extremely noticeable. Definitely give me the Pittsburgh Panthers here to win and cover as big favorites. Next on the docket, we've got the Texas State Bobcats heading to UTSA to take on the Roadrunners. The Bobcats got off to a nice start to their year, beating Eastern Michigan 52-27, so well played there. The Bobcats did a lot of positive things in that game to put up those 52 points. Their passing game looked amazing. Brad Jackson killing it, 18 of 26, 214 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The running game looked amazing. Lincoln Pear, guys, 12 carries, 167 yards, and a touchdown. And yeah, just tons and tons of production there from them offensively. Now, on defense, they did give up 27 points. They didn't force a turnover, so that's not great. They struggled a little bit stopping the run. They didn't do quite as bad of a job against the pass, I will say that, but not, a banner day there for the Bobcats on defense. But overall, I think they're very happy with how they started their season. Now, the UTSA Roadrunners, 0-1 on the year. They were kind of the victims there of a warm-up game there at Texas A&M. They lost 42-24, so, relatively competitive. They were down, 21-10 at halftime, so they were kind of hanging around. They did score in each quarter, so that's something of a positive. They come into this game probably feeling mediocre about their quarterback situation. McGowan wasn't great, really struggled out there. Robert Henry Jr., though, holy cow, that dude had a monster performance. 16 carries, 177 yards with 2 touchdowns. He snapped off a 75-yard carry in the game, so a lot to feel good about for him. But, coming out on the wrong end of a 24-42 game is a little bit bleak. Obviously, the defense wasn't able to do much to slow down Texas A&M, but a pretty big skill discrepancy there. So I'll cut them a little bit of slack for that, but Overall, looking at the numbers here, maybe they're getting too much slack. The Roadrunners are actually 4-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 65.5 in this game. I'm leaning towards Texas State here, getting 4 points. Yeah, they had a lot of roster turnover, that is true, but the group reloaded better than we expected. They looked incredible on offense in their opener, getting past Eastern Michigan there. 606 yards of offense is pretty impressive. UTSA did kind of hang in there against Texas A&M, obviously losing, but it was a physical test to open the season. I think Texas State, because last year the Bobcats had, UTSA completely figured out. They beat them 49-10 last season. I'll back the Bobcats here, getting a few points. Next up, guys, we've got one of the marquee games of the day. We've got number 20, Ole Miss. They're going on the road to take on Kentucky. Ole Miss got off to a good start to the year. A warm-up game there against Georgia State where they won 63-7. So very, very dominant stuff in that one. Obviously, the quarterback play, though, a bit of a concern. Austin Simmons getting picked off twice in the game. Not a great look. The running game was dominant. The defense was dominant. All the things you would expect Ole Miss to do in, effectively a warm-up game against a very, very weak opponent. But yeah, those interceptions are a little bit troubling and just a little bit of sloppy play there from the Rebels. So we'll see if they can clean it up here in week 2. They're going up against a legitimate team, though, in the Kentucky Wildcats. They got the 24-16 win against Toledo in week 1. So actually kind of a real game there for them against a talented Toledo squad. The passing game continues to be not really that much of a priority for the Wildcats. The running game, though, looked great. Very, very solid stuff there across the board. McGowan having a good day. Obviously, Dowdle having an amazing day. They did cough the ball up twice, though. You can't have 2 turnovers there. They did create a turnover of their own, though. And on defense, did great against the run. Maybe a little less good against the pass, but very good stuff against the run, which might end up being more important in this exact matchup. So, look at the numbers for this game. We see Kentucky all the way up to getting 10 points now. We've got at home, we've got a total of 50.5. Guys, I'm leaning towards the underdog in this one, especially at home, getting 10 points at home right until the end of the fourth quarter. Kentucky's defense looked solid there in week 1 against a very respectable Toledo opponent. They've still got a lot of work to do on the passing game, but their running game has generally just been so good. They've got a ton of talent there at running back. One of the surprise teams of the season last year. That victory at Ole Miss was a big deal. The Rebels' reformed roster looked great there in week 1, crushing Georgia State, but this will be a much tougher test against a much more capable defense, and they're going to be playing on the road in this one. I see this being a very competitive game, maybe coming down to the last possession or two with Kentucky staying very much in the mix. So getting double-digit points here, I think this is a great spot to back the Wildcats, especially playing at home. Rolling along, guys, we're looking at the Oklahoma State Cowboys going on the road to take on number 6 Oregon. The Cowboys come into this game fresh off a 27-7 week 1 win there over the UT Martin Skyhawks. Obviously not, a completely dominant day offensively there for the Cowboys. Not loving really what we're seeing there from the passing game. Obviously still some, controversy over who's going to be the primary passer there. The running game also looked very, very mediocre. So I don't really have a million positives to find for Oklahoma State on offense. Now, defensively, they looked much better. They generated a turnover. They really held down the passing game, really limited the running game there for the Skyhawks. So a great day defensively, but they're about to face a much different animal here in number 6 Oregon. The Ducks come into this game 1-0 on the season, a 59-13 beat down there against the Montana State Bobcats. Obviously, moving up a spot there in the rankings has to feel very, very good, and the way they played had to feel great. Dante Moore, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, very efficient passing numbers. The running game, just tons and tons of talent there, and putting up crazy numbers. Jordan Davidson, 26 yards and 3 touchdowns. This team can pretty much do whatever it wants to do. They didn't turn the ball over in that game either, and the defense looked great. They gave up a little bit to the pass, I will say, but nothing to the run. Like, they were so dominant there in the trenches, and maybe that could be something that gets replicated in this one, because looking at the numbers, guys, the Ducks are minus 27.5 here at home. We've got a total of 55.5. I'll take Oregon to win and cover even against this big number. Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy poked the bear a bit with his comments about Oregon's budget for their roster. I feel like this is going to be fuel on the fire there for the Ducks to run up the score at home against the Cowboys. Oregon's in a much better spot than Oklahoma State right now as an entire program. The talent difference is going to be massive in this game. I don't think this is going to be a full-on warm-up situation for Oregon, but I think they're going to win this game by 30 plus. Easily. So definitely give me the Oregon Ducks at home. I think they're going to make offense nearly impossible there for Oklahoma State, and Oregon's going to be able to do whatever they want on offense. Next on the docket, we've got the Troy Trojans going on the road to take on number 8 Clemson. The Trojans got the 38-20 win over Nichols to start their season, so got to feel good to put a win on the board right off the bat. Crowder looked really good under center, 3 touchdowns, only 144 yards passing. The real star of the game was Trey Meadows, 23 carries, 186 yards, and a touchdown. Crazy work there. Obviously not against an elite opponent, but still, you'll take it where you can get it. The Trojans did not turn the ball over in that game, so looked very good. Now, all that being said, they were playing against Nichols. Not really a top-tier team. They gave quite a bit to the pass, not as much to the run. They did generate 1 interception, but they're about to take on one of the toughest teams in college football, so it's certainly a bit of a worry here, how Troy can compete on this level. Clemson laid an egg in week 1. That's really the only way I can describe it. They're 0-1 after that loss against LSU. Pretty disappointing performance there from the Tigers. They fall out of being ranked number 4. Klubnik was not very good. 230 passing yards, got picked off once. The running game could not get going at all. They just had no real answers against that dominant LSU defense. So this is a huge bounce back spot for them. Obviously, tons of dudes really need to produce better in this game there for the Clemson Tigers, and I fully expect them to find a way to bounce back and do that. The defense has to play, I guess, better. I mean, they were pretty good defensively. Didn't give up too much to the pass or the run, but gave up some to both. This is a chance for them to flex that defensive muscle. They also had they generated 2 turnovers there against LSU. I think they're going to generate a lot more turnovers than that against the Troy Trojans. So we'll see how it goes. Looking at the numbers, Clemson, huge favorites. They're minus 30.5. We've got a total of 51.5 in this game. Clemson is minus 30.5 in this one. They weren't capable, to come through at home in their week 1 opener against LSU. Although disappointing, I feel like this is more of a result of LSU being an underrated team than Clemson being overrated. I think this is a great week 2 cupcake spot for a very talented Clemson squad to show their worth against a low-tier opponent. I think it's going to be a huge bounce back here for the Tigers, and they're going to get an absolute blowout here against the Trojans. Moving on into the afternoon, guys, we're looking at the Delaware Blue Hens going on the road to take on the Colorado Buffaloes. The Blue Hens got the 35-17 win there in week 1 against the Delaware State Hornets. Okay, cool. We're not going to freak out about that too much. Obviously, we saw some very solid quarterback play, but I mean, I don't know, not too enamored with their running game, and they were playing basically nobody here in essentially a walkover game. They did turn the ball over once, not great, but they generated 2 turnovers of their own and did get a convincing win. The defense played well, the offense played well. Well, now it's time to see if they can do that against Colorado. The Buffaloes come into the season not quite as hyped and fresh off a tough loss there. I mean, losing 27-20, not what they wanted to do to start their season. Salter was okay, but not great. 159 yards and a touchdown. The running game looked okay, but once again, not great. The defense struggled to stop the run. And by struggle, I mean probably pretty much couldn't stop the run. Their king, they had no answers for him. He had 19 carries, 156 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So this is a huge bounce back spot for Colorado, and they're 23.5 point favorites. We've got a total of 49.5. This is a spot for me to take Colorado. This is the kind of opponent that Salter would carve up during his time playing for Liberty, and the veteran dual threat quarterback should feel right at home going against this kind of opponent. Colorado had their chances to come through against a talented Georgia Tech squad in their opener, but just couldn't get it done. They were competitive enough where they should feel good about having the roster and talent needed to build around this season. We rate Delaware as one of the weakest teams in the FBS. That should be evident in this tough road matchup. I think we're going to see Colorado absolutely roll in this one. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Missouri State Bears heading to Marshall to take on the Thundering Herd. The Bears got a pretty rude welcome to big-time college football there in week 1, losing 73-13 against USC. Not a lot of positives to take from that game there from Missouri State. They did score in the first 3 quarters, so I guess that's nice. Jacob Clark got picked off twice in the game. That's not a great look. The running attack, I mean, Lawrence did have 50 yards on 12 carries and had a 23-yard scamper, so some positives. They did turn the ball over 3 times in the game and had no answers there for USC, in terms of defense. So, we'll see if they can bounce back here. Obviously, a much more reasonable matchup here, taking on a Marshall team that's more in their, more in their bracket, we'll say. Marshall, they got off to an 0-1 start as well. They were a warm-up against number 5 Georgia. Not exactly the easiest team to warm up against, obviously. They got dominated, didn't score a touchdown through the air. I think that was a rushing touchdown there. Who had it? Yeah, Barbie had it. So, we'll see what goes on with Marshall. Obviously, can only go up from here after getting destroyed by Georgia, but a massive talent difference. They didn't have any answers on defense for Georgia either, so definitely 2 teams looking to get their season a little bit under control after brutal starts to their year. Now, looking at the numbers, the Thundering Herd are actually 9.5-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 54.5 in this game. We'll take Missouri State here and the points, getting 9.5. As bad as they were in week 1 on the road against USC, giving up 73 points, this is an opportunity to buy low on the Bears. I actually think Missouri State's overall depth of talent is similar to Marshall. I think the edge at the quarterback position probably goes to Jacob Clark. The Bears have a chance at the upset in this matchup. I think they're actually live on the money line in this game. Marshall was a complete rebuild coming into the season. Don't feel good about what they looked like, against Georgia necessarily. And, these kind of points in a Marshall game, I think we definitely want to be siding with the underdog here. Next up, we're looking at the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers heading to Toledo to take on the Rockets. Western Kentucky is actually 2-0 on the season already. They got that 41-24 win over SHSU, then got the win over UNA 55-6 there against the North Alabama Lions. Very good stuff in this early part of the season from Western Kentucky. Not that they've played anybody too tough. Saw very, very solid stuff there from Maverick. 5 touchdowns, 305 passing yards. Cool. But you're doing this basically playing against a practice team. So we'll see what they can do going up against a real opponent here. Obviously, the defense looked great as well, but not a whole lot you can really glean from games like that. Now, Toledo, they played very tough there at Kentucky, losing 24-16, but playing a real game there against a very, very real opponent that we think is pretty underrated. Gleason was okay, 270 passing yards and a touchdown, but he did get picked off once. The running game couldn't really get going too much against Kentucky, but Kentucky's going to be a pretty tough defensive team, I think. So we'll see if Toledo can bounce back. They played really well defensively, shutting down the passing game, doing some things to limit the running game. Like if it wasn't for that 79-yard run there from Dowdle, this would have been a totally different looking game there from Toledo on defense. So looking at the numbers for this one, guys, Toledo is 7-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 58.5. I'll take Toledo -7. They got off to a slow start on the road against Kentucky last week. They should feel really good about how they closed out the fourth quarter there with a couple very solid touchdown drives. Not as high as most there on Western Kentucky coming into the season. I see this as being a very difficult test for this completely revamped Hilltopper squad. I know they've already played 2 games, but I'm worried about them going up against a very, very, very solid group of 5 team here. I'm going to be leaning towards Toledo. I think they win this game by more than a touchdown. Rapid fire through these games, we've got the Tulane Green Wave going on the road to take on the South Alabama Jaguars. Tulane comes into this one 1-0 on the season, a very nice win to open their year, winning 23-3 against Northwestern. Great work there from Tulane. Obviously, we loved what we saw from Reslaf, 152 yards and a passing touchdown. Very good stuff there. Excellent work with his legs as well. 113 rushing yards on 10 carries and a touchdown there. The running game was dominant for Tulane. They looked really, really good here in the season opener, so you love to see it, absolutely. The defense was dominant, giving up only 3 points, generating 4 interceptions. They ended up forcing 5 total turnovers. You're going to win an awful lot of football games if you win the turnover battle 5-0. So definitely excited about what we saw there from Tulane. We'll see what they can do going on the road here in week 2, taking on South Alabama. Now, the Jaguars got the 38-21 win there over the Morgan State Bears, so good stuff from them in week 1. Very good stuff from Davenport, 166 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, completed 12 of 14 passes. So elite stuff there. The running game looked great. Also, Bullock, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns on 23 carries. That's great. The defense, I'm not going to say dominant. They struggled a little bit against the run there. They did some good stuff against the pass, generated 4 turnovers, which is really the difference maker in this game. So all very good stuff there from South Alabama. You love to see that. This is going to be a little bit bigger of a test for them, though. Looking at the numbers, the odds makers don't love South Alabama. There's been a lot of money coming in on Tulane. This line has moved all the way up to plus 13.5. We've got a total of 51.5. Guys, we liked Tulane a lot at -10. I was a little bit skeptical about their, being sufficiently bonded together after this roster being very much reformed, but the Green Wave proved they're further along than I expected right out of the gate there with that great win against Northwestern. Retzlaff was a huge get for Tulane after they lost, Mensa to Duke there in the offseason, and that has the Green Wave in a great position to compete for their conference title, at least potentially. Tulane brings in a lot more talent, and I like them to stifle South Alabama's offense quite a bit. Now, with this line moving so much, is this one going to make the pin comment? It's all the way up to 13.5. We really liked them at 10. Probably won't make the pin comment, but I do still think there's some value left at anything under 2 touchdowns. Last but not least here, guys, we've got the UCLA Bruins going on the road to take on the UNLV Rebels. Now, this game is going to be played at Allegiant Stadium there in Las Vegas, so very exciting stuff. The Bruins 0-1 to start their year. They got just destroyed by Utah right out of the gate, losing 43-10 there to the Utes. Did not love what we saw from UCLA in that one. Quarterback situation looking mediocre. Running game did not get going. Not a lot of positives. They only turned the ball over once, so I guess that's something of a positive, but they had no answers there for the Utah rushing attack. 16 carries, 87 yards to their lead back, and it did not end there. They also didn't have any answers for the passing game either. Really just a stinker there from UCLA to open the season. So hopefully for them, hopefully for their fans, and hopefully for anybody that backs them this week, they have a nice bounce back in the tank. It's definitely not impossible. Definitely not impossible. I don't hate the UCLA this season. I do think they came out of the gates really, really slow there. Now they're taking on a UNLV team that's already played 2 games this season, and they won both, so that's a positive. I mean, going up against Idaho State, a very, very close 38-31 win. Then last week, guys, against Sam Houston, against the Bearcats, they did win 38-21. A little bit better of a showing. We did see Collandera get picked off once in that game, but also had 2 touchdowns, so not the end of the world. They only had that 1 turnover, so that's solid. Now, defensively, they did a great job of shutting down the pass, but they struggled a bit against the run. They didn't generate, any more than that 1 interception there. So yeah, I don't have a ton of amazing feelings about UNLV this season overall, and they really didn't do anything to wow me there out of the gate, despite the fact they're already 2-0 on the season. So we'll see what they can do in this one. They are playing at home. They are getting 2.5 points. We've got a total of 54.5. UCLA at -2.5 is going to be my play in this one. I know it wasn't a great look for them in their opening home loss there against Utah, but the Utes are going to be real good. This is more a manageable of a matchup there against UNLV. I think this is going to be a good measuring stick for both squads. I'm a little bit skeptical on UNLV after they almost lost there to FCS Idaho State in their home opener. They bring in a new quarterback and head coach, and I like the talent they picked up, but it does look like it's going to take some time for them to figure things out, and I think this is a pretty good spot for UCLA to jump in and take pretty significant advantage here, despite the fact this game is being played on the road. These UCLA guys, I'm sure they've spent plenty of time in Vegas in their lives. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today. Obviously, a big slate of college football action. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I appreciate everyone watching. Make sure you're clicking the link down in the description to get over there to stumpthespread.com. You definitely want to check out all the premium college football action we have here for Saturday and all the massive amount of premium NFL action we have over there as well for NFL Sunday. Tons of great information over there. Also get on that free email newsletter list. It's a fantastic resource. Guys, we'll see you right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, where we will break down the entire slate of NFL action there on Sunday for week 1.